Hey guys, welcome to Making It Fun with Michael Miller Fabrics. My name is Heidi and I'm very excited to be here with you. So we're just kicking off new content for Michael Miller Fabrics. As you can see, new studio, new host, and we're coinciding this kickoff with the September 2025 fabric collection release. There are 19 brand new collections that'll be coming out. These are all being released for all our wholesale customers so they can start getting it ordered and getting it in their shops. But for the rest of us, we just got to wait till early 2026. That being said, if you see a group you like, you can always tell your quilt shop, hey, you need to order this from Michael Miller, and then you're sure it'll be in your store when these are released. So with the 19 collections, I didn't think we wanted to make a video that long with 19 groups, and each group has its own personality and has a lot of fun prints in it. So what I've done is I've divided it up into 4 categories. And today's category is all about Wanderlust. It's all about traveling, camping, playing outside. There are 5 collections I'm going to share with you, and I just wanted to say thank you for joining us for this, and make sure you leave me a comment below and tell me which collection you like the best. So I'm going to pull up a chair, sit down, and share with you these 5 wonderful collections. The first collection we're going to start with is Alaska, the Last Frontier. This was designed by Melanie Mikesy. It is a wonderful collection. It features 2 panels, the first one being a map of Alaska with the animals tossed on top, and the second one is made up of blocks, which we then went ahead and cut apart and used as the quilt for the line, which you can see on the front card. And don't worry, you'll get to see it on the end. And you can see her bright colors, her whimsical animals, and just how it all pulls together with the Northern Light color palette. After that, we've got the Alaska stripe, which is so fun. We actually use this in a tote bag pattern, which I will share with you later this month as a tutorial on how to make the tote bag. So after the multi-stripe, we've got Wildlife in Alaska. This is tossed animals and floral, all done on 2 different backgrounds, following the Sea Life tossed in the water. So we have 2 different blues there. So they've given us a lot of different choices with this group. It's a small group, but it's a fun group. After that is my favorite piece, which is the polar bears on the icebergs. I just love the colors, how she pulled in the blues and the purples to give it depth, and how the polar bears just sort of pop off like a big white polka dot, which is just the cutest thing. So after the polar bears, we've got the orcas frolicking in the colorful waves. She took the arcs and made simplified waves and then pulled in the Northern Light color palette to just add a punch of color to this print. It's also another one of my favorites. And then we've got the words in both light blue and in lily pad, which is kind of a teal. This is a great one to be used as a background. You can use this as a resting strip. It's just a lovely piece to have in the collection to give your eye a place to rest amongst all the beautiful colors and artwork. So after the words, we've got the animals in the woods. These 2 prints are a little bit darker, a little bit quieter. They again give your eye a break amongst the bright colors in this group. And then following that, finally, is our sea life animals. So we've got the crabs and we've got the sockeye salmon. I went to Alaska. I've been 3 times, and salmon is king up there, that's for sure. I was in Juneau and I got to go to the processing plant, which is kind of an interesting thing to go check out. But definitely fun to see this in a print here. They're diagonal, so it reads like a diagonal stripe. That would be fun for borders and for binding. And last but not least, on the Alaska Last Frontier is the multicolored wavy stripe. This is the perfect accent print for this group. It's also great for your binding or borders, or just to add a little bit of pop and movement to your blocks. So make sure you check out Alaska, the Last Frontier, when it hits stores in February of 2026. And if you can't get to Alaska, this group will definitely embrace what it feels like to be there. All right, now we are moving on to our next collection, which is really, really fun. It's an iconic group. It's called Girls Gone Camping. And the artwork from this is based on the pinup girls from the 30s and 40s. And the style that they used for these girls is the same style of women that they would paint on the nose cone of the planes when they went over to fight the wars. So they've taken these iconic girls and the iconic fashion and they drop them into camping. So we're gonna go through this collection really quick with you. It's a fun group. It's just nostalgic. It kind of brings us back to a simpler time, and the colors on this are really quite bright. So we're gonna start with the Gone Camping panel, where we're seeing the girls in the woods camping with their little trailers and all their picnic stuff. It's bordered in a lovely plaid, so you could just cut and border this and have a great quilt. Next up is the Campy Scenic blocks. This is great. I love when they give us these scenic blocks that we can mix and match with pieced blocks to make interesting quilts versus having just a center panel. And they've captured 6 of the lovely ladies having their camping adventure in the really bright colors. Next up is the Girls Gone Wild stripe. This is a lovely wide stripe. It would be great as a border. It'd be great as a block on its own. It could also be used as a front of the tote bag that we're going to be showing you later this month. And this wide border is a great way to show off the pinup girl art. So make sure you check that one out as well. Next up is camping posters. This is a really fun, whimsical, and colorful print. Stands on its own. It would be great with the panels as an outer border, as a supporting block, but it'd also be really fun as an apron or as pillows in a camper. So make sure you check out the camping posters. After camping posters, we've got Girls Made Lunch. This is a lovely print. It's just tossed novelties of all your picnic supplies. Following that one is the Girls Gone Camping, which is a large toss of the girls, the campers, the picnics, the trees. Again, this would be really great as an apron, as a quilt back, as pillows, or you can incorporate it into your quilt as the borders. Following that one, we've got Great Destinations. This comes in 2 colorways. These are tossed camping posters along with tents. This is one where if you want to do a camping quilt and maybe don't want the pinup girls in there, you can. These are standalone camping fabrics. They are great. I have friends that love to go camping, and I would make anything. They use these little bags in the tent to hold the tent pole stuff. You could use it for pillows in the sleeping bags. Just have fun with it. It's an easy one to work with. Following that, they have their camping plaids. These come in 3 colors. We've got the green and cream, we've got the green and black, and then we've got this lovely rich blue. So plaids are fun on their own and in this group. And then the final one in this group are the summer forest. These are beautifully drawn forest trees. You get sage, spruce, and teal. So you've got 2 colors, but the green you have a light and a dark, so you can definitely play those off each other as you cut them up and put them into blocks. So that is Girls Gone Camping. That one's going to be hitting stores in March of 2026, and I hope you've enjoyed that one as much as we did. All right, moving right along here, we are going to go from the forest to the field. This is a sweet small group called Goal Getter by Zirkus Designs. It is based all about soccer, and it's a wonderful group for kids and adults alike. So the main panel shows you all the patches and symbols of the soccer game. It's a really fun panel to use. It's not super busy, so that means you can do some really fun pieced blocks around that panel. So we go from there to the very colorful, very fun novelty stripe on this one. It's a great one to just border the panel, or we can cut it up into squares. So after the novelty stripe, we move on to the tossed soccer equipment and clothing. This one comes in 2 colors, navy and vanilla. It is a really fun print to use as the center of a block. It could be a bag on its own. This group itself would be great for kids' quilts. It would be great for team gifts, a coach's gift. It would also be really good for sports bags and backpack. Next up, we have soccer cleats and soccer icons. These two prints are both of a smaller scale. They would be great in any smaller parts of your block. They'd be good for borders, and they would be good for your small secondary focal fabric. From that, we're going on to the numbers. Now, the numbers are come in navy and red, and you can use these for soccer, for any sports. You could use them for mathematician. You could use them anywhere you want to just have numbers on a fabric. So make sure you think outside the box on that one, because that would be a fun one to just use on their own. From there, we are going to the tossed soccer balls on the field. And I love this print because they really gave you room to breathe around the soccer balls. It's not super, super busy, which means you can use a lot of it in a project. And it supports the theme of the panel and the major stripe. So we go from there to another great fabric that can be used in this group or on its own, and that is a bias green stripe. It looks like the grass when they cut the grass with those lawnmowers. Oh my gosh, I think that's so cool how they get patterns and designs in those fields, and how they get it so straight, I do not know. But that is represented here in this bias green stripe. And it's a dark green. So if you look at it in comparison to everything else, it's giving you some contrast. It's giving your eye a place to rest. And then when we go from there, we go to one of my favorite prints in here. It may or may not be easy to tell on your little screen what it is, but those are lockers that they've now tossed and turned in different directions. So it reads like a graphic print, but when you look at it closer, it tells a story. It has these adorable little lockers in there that pulls in, again, the story of being a soccer player on the field. So that is Goal Getter by Circus Designs. You can see here on the last card what the quilt looks like that we picked to go with this, and I love how they have the optical illusion of the diamonds going around the panel. I found that very, very interesting. So I hope that you will look at this group for all of your soccer lovers out there. So far we've gone to Alaska, we've gone camping, and then we've gone to a soccer game. So I hope you're enjoying our little travel adventure here. Our next collection is called Starlit Towers, and this one features lighthouses on the intercoastal lines of Minnesota, Ohio, Michigan. These lighthouses have stood the test of time, and now we are embracing them in this collection. The collection is designed so you could use it in two different ways. One is it is a traditional lighthouse collection, and if you don't add certain coordinates, you could just make it all about lighthouses for anyone who just loves lighthouses. I have an aunt who collects lighthouse stuff, so she would really, really appreciate that. The other way to work with the line is to actually incorporate the fabrics that have the lighthouse names, and then this is a quilt that is very regional for anyone who loves the lighthouses along those coastlines. So as I show you these prints, you'll see what I mean. But it is a really nice way to have designed the group so you can utilize it in different ways. And that is one of the things that our designers really, really focus on when they're designing the fabrics. They do put a lot of thought and effort in what will make the best fabric line for you guys. Without further ado, let's get into Starlit Towers. So this one starts with a beautiful panel of the lighthouses and the sailboats at sunset or sunrise. We get that twice a day. But it is a beautiful panel with no words on it, so it can be used as a generic lighthouse panel. And I do have this panel in the studio. I will show it to you here at the end of the run through on the collection. And after that main panel, we have got some stunning blocks. Again, these are the Legend Tower square panel. And this one, these do have the lighthouse names on it. So you can use those as a block. You can use those on their own as tote bag front and back, or pillow front and back. But it is really nice that now you know the names of each of the lighthouses that you're looking at through the collection. That one is followed up by the beautiful novelty stripe. Now you may notice that all of these collections have a novelty stripe to it. We designed a pattern for a tote bag using the Alaska stripe, which then could very easily be hacked and used for all of these stripes. So when you're looking at patterns that use novelty stripes, don't get hung up on just that one stripe, because it's not too hard sometimes to drop in a different stripe and still keep the pattern pretty consistent. So we're going to talk about that in a later video, but just a sneak peek of what's coming. From there, we're going to the guiding light print. This is a tossed patch of all of the lighthouses. Great for quilt backs, great for focal fabric. From there, we're moving on to the shoreline dots. This is a larger texture of stones under the water. So if you look closely, you can see the little dots on the stones. So you can see that you're looking at it through the water. Next up, we have regatta rhythm. One of the best parts about my job working with Michael Miller is we're usually designing quilts and writing patterns, and they really think about the names for each of their prints. And I think when a print has a name, it takes on its own personality. So again, these are regatta rhythm. They are tossed sailboats. This one comes in cream and in blue, and it is a great print to kind of tie the whole thing in. You'll remember in the main panel there are sailboats as well, so it's a theme that's being run through the fabric. From there, we've got the Starlit Towers. This one comes in navy and cream, and this one is also got the names on it. So if you're going to use the blocks with the names, these two prints would also go with it very well and tie the whole thing together. From there, we're going on to the celestial coastlines. This is a diamond print. The diamonds are formed by the nautical ropes, and they have the lighthouses and sailboats and symbols all pulled together. That one comes in black and in cream. It's a nice medium-sized print that you can utilize throughout your projects. And then from there, we are going to the words. So this one is the tossed words of all the places and all the lighthouse names, and this one comes in navy and in cream. And then we go on to small pebbles. This is a lovely texture that could be used here, and it's so realistic. It could also be used in a lot of landscape quilts outside of this collection. And the colors in there, it just brings a nice, refreshing palette of earth tones and grays in there. So if you did decide to throw some gray in and try to make it more of a modern look to these quilts, those stones work great as well. And then finally, we have the Tower Reflections print. This is line art of all of the symbols and buildings and boats. And this one comes in 3 colors, navy, red, and cream. So now we're going to switch on over to the studio where I have some of the fabrics to share with you. This is the Tower Reflections fabric, and you can see in person it's not overwhelming. It's very subtle, it's very quiet, and this is the red colorway. It does come in the blue and the cream, but it is small enough that you could cut this up and make them the background pieces in your quilt versus using a solid. But it also gives you a fabric that you can utilize for all the smaller pieces in your project. So we have that one here in the studio. We do have the squares here to show you as well. These are just beautifully done, very vibrant. I love this blue they got. It's a beautiful blue. But here's those, and then we don't want to leave anyone out. So there's the back ones. And then I also have the lighthouses with their names, which I find very interesting to look at. And that one came in both, like I said, the navy and in the cream. So we've got both colorways there. And on that note, the last print that I got here in the studio is the lighthouse panel itself. I'm just going to stand back here and hold that up for you to see. Beautiful colors in it. And it, again, just embraces life at the coast. That is Starlit Towers. And the very last collection we have here is the Great Outdoors. So there you go, that is Starlit Tower. Now we're going to move from Starlit Tower to the Great Outdoors. So back to the woods we go. This one I do have the fabric here in the studio for you. So I'm going to show you the whole line here on camera. The main print for this guy is the cabin gallery wall. And again, I'm going to hold this one up for you so you can see it. It's just very well done. And there is one in here, well, there's a couple. Like, I I love this little moose guy. You know, he's just like, hey, what are you guys doing? And then we've got, where is my other favorite guy here? They're all beautiful, but I love this owl too. Hey, where are you going? There you go. There's the owl. He's just got some attitude sitting there in the tree. It's kind of funny, the other day I went to let the dog out and we actually had a huge owl in our backyard, and I live in Arizona, so that's not something you really expect to see out there. And he was just hanging out, standing on the ground. We just waited for him to fly away before we went out to take care of what we needed to do. So because of that, I think I really do like the owl the best on that fabric. Next up is Mountain Cabin. This is just very, very soothing to look at. It's a beautiful print, a lot of colors. This one brings in, I'm going to bring this guy back in. This one just gives you a pop of color against the natural earth tones of this fabric. So I like that they're bringing in some more color for you to work with so that it doesn't look flat at the end. This group was designed by Edward of Art Beat Studios. So before I forget to mention that, he did a great job on this. Now that I've shown you the main fabrics for the Great Outdoors, let's go through the coordinates that come with the collection. The first one up is the main stripe. It is got a very monochromatic look to it. It's very simplistic. It does not compete with these two guys, which I'm going to scooch up here a little bit. It is a perfect stripe to go with either of those fabrics. Plus, as you start to see the rest of the coordinates, it ties in with the color palettes from that. Next up is the diamond texture. It's kind of reminds me of Navajo blankets. And again, you get that in two colors. So we're going to drop those guys down on there. Next up, we have cut logs in brown. I just think this one's got so much texture and movement to it. Really does tie in with both of those as well as the more monochromatic fabrics. So we've got that guy. Then we've got the forest view. And this one comes in two colors. So we've got the very soft, subtle one. This could be used as your background. This could be used in the background of a block. And then we have the one with the little punch of green that ties in with those as well. So both of those are great for your basics for the quilts. Then we got the more punchy, colorful. These guys are called Outdoor Spirit. It comes in black and in brown. I love that it adds a punch of color to the line, gives it some more personality. It can make it feel a little more whimsical versus a little more grown up. So it does change the theme by using this, which I think is a really nice thing to have in a collection. So you could look at the collection and see different ways that you could use the fabrics. Next up, we have this guy, which is Outdoor Woodland, and it shows the silhouettes of all the animals in the forest with the cabins. And I don't know what it is, but that cabin just is so sweet and whimsical on its little legs. So I do like that one a lot. And then we've got Welcome to Our Cabin. These are all little, I'm going to open this guy up so you can see it. They're all little signs and patches about going to your cabin. So unlike the Girls Gone Camping that we talked about earlier, this is a nice one for people who live in a cabin. Then we have got the Forest Plaid. This comes in two colorways. Again, you can see with the whole group, it adds movement and color, but not a ton. It's very toned down, and I like that it does its job very well. And then finally, we have our forest mushrooms. This is called foraged mushrooms. I was pretty close. But it's a really beautiful fabric. It brings in, as you can see as I lay it on there, it brings in some real color and movement. From afar, it looks like a mottled fabric, and then up close, you could see the mushrooms on there. So that is the Great Outdoors. So that is the Great Outdoors. So that is the last stop on our Wanderlust tour. We went to the coastline, we went to Alaska, we visited the forest twice, and then we got to go to a sporting event. I hope you've enjoyed the tour with me and a sneak peek of all these yummy, yummy fabrics that will be out in stores early 2026. We've got lots more to show you and lots more stories to tell. So make sure you hit the bell to be notified for our next video so you can see what all of the collections look like in the Michael Miller release. And know we've got tips, tricks, and projects coming your way. So make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your friends to come on board and join us. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.